Hello. Today we're typing Josephine Baker. She is a well-known flapper girl, so therefore I dressed up and some other people maybe, I don't know. Good. So today we have a new guest here. Hello, Beth.
Hello.
Nice of you to join us. Thank you. We love having you. And we also have Mr. Imposter over here.
An imposter? What are you talking about?
That's like the biggest.
You're definitely a time traveler, sir. I mean, look at you. Obviously.
I'm trying very hard not to be seen with these glasses.
Very, very incognito.
You're invisible. We can't see you at all.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, he is invisible. Okay. And we have Christina on, of course. But Christina is a ghost, like usual. Well, she seems like an assertive type. That's for one. Very self-made, I think. Like she grabbed like lots of opportunities, and I know that she moved from America to France, yeah, and there she, became like famous as I think one of the first black flapper girl or showbiz girl or whatever. I'm not very good at these things to give like a proper introduction to somebody, but yes, she seemed very fascinating to me, and very positive. I mean, look at her face. She's like so bright. And so what I think for her is probably two assertive fixes. So I'm leaning now to core 7 with 3 and maybe a 9. That's like where I'm leaning. Could be, of course, something else. I don't know yet.
Yeah, she has like kind of Liza Minnelli energy too. And like I see 7, I could see like 7 wing 8 or 7 with an 8 fix and like social sexual, I think, because she's very flamboyant and like, especially like given the era, she has like such a strong personality, like to persevere through all of this bullshit and just keep this like bright, shining like energy and smile throughout all of it. I feel like the 7 is sort of undeniable. And then I agree,
Yeah,
like, just 2 or 3 heart. There's this thing about her adopting like 50 kids or something. So
I didn't. Yeah, she actually had like a lot of kids, because I was like reading her Wikipedia page, and it was like, and her children, and it was like a very, very long list. But I don't know. I haven't read all of that. I just know that she had like a very hard life at the beginning, but then like completely, made it like to the top, and I love that. Power woman.
Yeah, she seems like she was fucking cool.
She seems like a 2 fix. I haven't done any
Oh
prior.
no, darling.
I'm like half still in my closet, half out, but hybrid. But I didn't do any prior research, but just like the impressions I'm getting so far would be more 2 fixy.
Oh, det Ingrid and Josephine Baker. Hello.
See you say, I was just outside seeing and looking around, and Oslo, I don't recognize the town anymore. The last time I was here, it's so changed. And coming through this beautiful building at 9 was going to say there, how are you? I thought I'd come and say hello to you, knowing that you're very often here. Wanted to say hello to you. Like, how's everything all right?
Just fine, except especially now when you're here. You really made me happy.
Can
you think of anything more inhuman,
very like sparkly? So I feel like there's maybe SP blind, definitely. Yeah, she's she's light.
Yeah, and she also has this like talking like completely like the whole time, like blah 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 blah. She's like very informal. Is that the word? You know, like chill and like nonchalant. You know, just like, oh, I'm already your friend, even though she probably never seen this interviewer in her life, but you get like these vibes.
Mhm.
So therefore assertive, I think.
Studio, no, that tomt. An empty studio is an inhuman thing, isn't it?
I don't know. Well, I don't. Everything becomes alive when
you're around.
No. As far as I'm concerned, for instance, it's not exactly empty here. Here we are all together, and I know the people who are looking in and listening to us. They're part of our family, aren't we?
Ja, så.
Well, you believe in that?
Men jag hade tänkt först då.
Bringing the audience.
I wonder.
Yeah.
My like first impression is wondering about Smothering Jazz Hands, my favorite other than Whiny Tears name. I can't remember what we've called it, but I love that one. I just wonder because like she kind of reminds me of other Smothering Jazz Hands I've known who like they seem to me like because there's something there is withdrawn about the 9 fix. So even though she comes out very chill, she comes out very chill and smooth, but like there's something more forceful. And I think with the 2 and the 7 positive, like that's just the initial hypothesis I have now, but let's see.
Should be 2 assertive fixes.
I was also thinking what Chanti said about how she acts very familiar, if that can be kind of 2-ish as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 2-ish, and it can be 8-ish too, because it's like,
yeah,
you know, very when you treat people very informally without knowing them well, it actually is kind of a power move in some way. Or
so I'm remembering her from the natural section of Art of Seduction by Robert Greene. She's used as like a major example in that section. He tells her whole life story. So I'm like remembering about this. She definitely seems like a positive outlook type, like at least
2.
Yeah. The natural is sort of the attraction of the child or whatever, like that sort of innocence, you know, childishness. Like
I also think like 7 with a 2 can be very wacky, and she's kind of got wacky, like she goes cross-eyed, sticking out tongue. I know that can be like social sexual, but I think it's like amplified with 2 and 7, like because they're kind of dorky, like but in like very cute maniacal kind of way. Like
I definitely see 7, but is anybody else wondering about core 2? Bisou, is that what you were saying?
I was leaning probably to core 7, but
Sure.
I was wondering about maybe, I mean, I see how she seems 9 fixie, but it seems the 2 seems pretty clear to me, the 2 and the 7. And I wonder, you know, with a 2 and a 7, like an 8-wing 9 fix can be, or any 8 fix can be less aggressive, you know, and just more like putting the, you know, I think that's why I like the Smothering Jazz, is like pushing the positive energy out there kind of thing.
What was Lucille Ball's trifix? 7 and 2, I think.
seems like she could be like maybe 7.
I think it's that one. I think it's the 2, 7, 8 trifix.
Possibly.
Yeah,
I had heard her as
it's
like
the same sort of childlike, playful energy that I'm seeing, except with SOSX. And there is 8 there, definitely.
Yeah, I've seen her typed as a core 8 a couple places.
This one?
No, Lucille Ball.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Josephine more 7-wing 60 and Lucille more like 7-wing 80, but I can definitely see like some parallels. It's like, you know, that brightness that you just like, you're not, you know, there's no like hindrance to like pushing it out there, like just sharing rainbows and whatever.
Yes.
You have a svært publikum here, a big audience for you, know, proper setting and here, an old table.
It's beautiful.
At least det ikke plastic i hvert fall. It's not plastic, so
No, it's beautiful, old-fashioned too, nicely done and cleaned up. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I bought that you see in Switzerland. I think this is a very
Lovely.
wonderful thing because like the jewels like that. I personally, I'm not too fond of jewels, but this, oh, look who's licking your hand. He loves you.
I hope you don't mind the dog.
No.
I am sorry, but I have to say something. I actually do feel Core too. Because she's like touching everything. It's like the energy is different than with sevens. With sevens, it's like more like, like awake in the head or something. And here she's like, I don't know, she's like touching everything. And it's like, I don't know, it's like an impression that I get. I don't know for sure, of course.
Yeah. I'm starting to wonder. She does remind me of my friend who's 278, 2 core. The one thing that kind of like, I think I need to watch more, but like when she's like, oh, she loves you, like that type of thing does seem more like.
Yeah, and the family, like all the people back home, they're also our family, something like that she said at the beginning.
So what other two entertainers do we know? Like,
None that people agree with me on.
Wait, what was the question?
Cosby, Jeff Goldberg. I mean, two SOSX2s.
Oh, SOSX2s.
Yeah. Jeff Goldblum, that's the one.
What's her face? Christina Hendricks.
I don't know her.
Christina Hendricks?
Is she SOSX?
I think so. She's from Mad Men. She plays
her.
Holloway.
Oh,
Joan
right.
Holloway. Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum, I know, is to that.
Yeah, I think that what that actress I was just mentioning is like 271, I think. Actually. But
I know
that's just my theory.
She has this little mouse face, right? Is that her?
No, she's the like sort of Jessica Rabbit looking lady from Mad Men.
Oh, no, that's another one. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah, she's social sexual 2ing 3, and she definitely has 7 fixed second. And I think she has a 1 fixed, but I think that's more debatable.
I don't know.
On the contrary, I love animals.
Yeah,
and he knows that I have a little female dog by the name of Fifi. And oh, look at him. He is the sweetest. Kiss me too. Also, if you remember how sweet he is.
This is a girl, that's why this is me.
Oh, well, that's natural. But I have a little Fifi too. And oh, she loves you a lot. Well, anyway, tell me about yourself. You're always the tops and
I'm supposed to interview you.
Well, yeah, I think she's definitely got a 2 3 heart. I don't know if she's an image type, but definitely 2, I think.
Yeah, of course, I don't know.
I have to speak a little Norwegian.
Oh, yes, okay. Do it.
Du var her for, jeg husker ikke hvor mange år siden. The first time I met you was in this building, I believe. Or we did a radio program. I was scared of you. Jeg var redd. Jeg var yngre og litt mer beskjeden en gang, kanskje. Men nei, not the beast, no, but you were very professional. I had such respect for you. I hardly even dared to talk to you then.
And now?
I dare now.
Why? What's the years, I suppose?
Actually, she does kind of have a bit of a 2 3 face now that I'm like.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah, that energy though, I don't know. Like with the dog.
I'm leaning towards 7. I feel like she's more like a prodigy kind of type than heart-based. I think she has a strong warmth. But she doesn't feel that warm at the same time, despite her friendliness.
I feel like it might be like 7w6 with 2 3 and like 8w9 or something like.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
But I'm definitely I'm thinking 7 for core.
Oh, really?
It's more comedian, happy, yes. Entertain everybody, make everybody laugh.
He does feel more mental, but with like a strong 2 3 is a strong image type to have. So it does come through.
And so I'm not even going to
Sorry.
talk about my age because after all,
Jo, nå
my
skal jeg spørre.
age belongs to me.
Nei, jeg skal spørre hvor gammel du er. How old are you?
64.
Terrific.
Yes, well, 64 years old. And sometimes I feel it and sometimes I don't. Well, I think it's like that with all people at a certain age, you feel it. If you're unhappy or if you have troubles, and a lot of people in the world have troubles almost every day. And sometimes they're unhappy about them. Of course, you feel age. If you don't feel age, you just feel something that's very
But
disappointing.
you're unchangeable, absolutely
That's
unchangeable.
what you say. But anything, I know that perhaps I've become so changed that I can't become changed worse. I'm at the tops perhaps now. No, I think so. Oh, let me talk.
I mean, she's kind of doing a bit of the heart type painting.
I thought she was being very mental there. Like I've been seeing more mental, like she seems ping-pongy. She seems almost a little like mentally manic, like and kind of all over the place.
Yeah, she is definitely all over the place. It's true, but I can also feel the 2 strong. So maybe it's 7 and then secondary 2, or 2 with secondary 7. One of those 2.
I guess we can maybe look for things like frustration or rejection in what she's
It doesn't, but it doesn't look like she's like too, or like she's just kind of like, I feel like she's kind of like moving around like as her mind, like kind of almost a little she's in jolly, but like a little agitated mentally, like ping-ponging. Whereas like 2 comes off as more, she's not, doesn't feel much like she's taking in like what the interviewer is saying to her. She's just like bouncing around.
Yeah.
And not like, whereas a 2 as an image type will take that in as feedback and then like kind of, reflect and orient that back out to them. But that's just, so I'm in agreement with like the 7 core so far.
About my coming back here. Would you like to
Yes,
hear
I would like to. How many years is it now
Yes.
since you were?
I don't know. I don't count years for the simple reason that when I'm happy somewhere or with people, I don't count the time. Time just flies. I think it's like that with everybody. And I've always been very happy here, up here in Norway. And I was so excited when I left Switzerland coming here, and I was thinking about the snow that I would find. But now it's spring, but that's all right. Even nature has changed a little bit. It has a right to the reforms. Everybody and everything is asking for reform nowadays. So
what is she even talking about? We go watch some of this unless anybody.
It is like a kooky 7/6 type.
Yeah, but
in a good way, in a good way.
Yeah.
Painting a very big picture here, though. But she uses a lot of buzzwords that come from 7, like exciting and happy and whatever, stuff like that. But I can also see her like painting this picture, this,
But she does seem core assertive to me. Like she has a high motor. Like assertive types have a high like internal motor, and like she clearly has that. I don't know though.
No, that's true.
2 and 3s are my favorite types, so they have everything as far as I'm concerned.
Madame Baquer, où est-ce que vous vivez?
She's so fun.
Si vous n'avez plus cette...
I like her. I love her style.
There's not, I don't know if I'm seeing 8 much though. I think it's kind of 9.
That's all I've been thinking about for like 5 minutes. I'm like, moved on from,
From
7
8.
to 7/6, 2 and 3. Like, she's social sexual, right?
That's that's
I think
visually, I think,
Yeah, I have no reason to think she'd be anything other than that. Yeah, I see 9 wing 8 probably. I don't think 8 wing 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's too lovely.
Triple positive doesn't seem wrong to me.
No.
She's very bright, very happy, very sort of innocent, playful, la 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 la.
Look at that face.
Yeah, she does seem a lot like Liza Minnelli, and she's like what, like 729 or something. Let me just
Oh,
look her up.
yes. Very, very much so, yes.
One thing though, this is something I've found more, I can't really point to any exemplars, but
Lovely.
I've often found triple positives not to always be the most positive necessarily, because I feel like there's like a lot of agitation from the 7 and then the withdrawing and the agitation of the 9. I don't always get such like a strong personality read from them, but that might just be
Like it's kind of delayed. Like the strong personality of triple positive doesn't just hit you immediately, right? It's sort of like, oh, after a while, oh, okay.
Josephine does kind of hate you right away. Like she's fearless about her positivity. There's no holding back. I don't really sense any kind of
Well, with triple positive, there's no not positive to hold back. We don't need to say 8 not holding back the positive of 2 and 7, you know?
If she
I don't know.
is, but if she is triple positive, then she has to be 7 first, because she's definitely assertive. So
Yeah,
so,
I agree. I think so.
So that's, for me, that would be 7 to 9 then, if it's with 9. But I can also feel like strong energy from her.
So if she's, let's just say if she is 7-wing-6, 2-wing-3, 9-wing-8, she'd have a Kyle overlay, right? Is that what that is? Kyle? No. Yes. Yeah. 6-3 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like subcurrent of undercurrent of like a lot of assertiveness, like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So you think
Not, it's more like subliminal, I guess.
and you would place her wing as a 6 versus an 8?
I would
Based on what I've seen so far, I would, yeah.
You know what? If she would have like 7-wing-8 and then also an 8 under 9, then she would have like double 8 wings. So maybe that would explain the power thing. I don't know, like the assertive thing even more.
I'm like currently on the same page as Bisou. I feel like her head is 7-wing-6, and I feel like she has an 8 gut, but I feel like I need to see more to like. I don't really see 9. Like I don't really see.
But I think, I don't know, I'm bad at 8s, but like they don't always come across as like assertive monsters or something like that. Just like can be like this force and confidence and assertive energy that somebody has from the gut range. Like I don't feel like she has in the body, I don't sense that she has any kind of withdrawn or like amorphous kind of element. She seems very solid and very confident and like pushing forward like who she is, rather than kind of blending in a little bit more.
Yeah, she has like a very big me energy, like, but I think she has that kind of spastic head, like 7-wing-6 sort of thing. And like I know if she has 2, she has a line to 8. I know that like EU says something about like if 8 is last, it basically just accelerates and amplifies like the other 2 aspects. So, and I feel like that's what she's just super.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So like I don't really know that I get 9, but let's keep watching because we're stealing their nicknames today. Smothering Jazz Hands, she was literally like the queen of the jazz age, or like one of them. So
I know, I can't remember, but that's one of the few of the nicknames that I liked. Is one of my top 2 favorites was Smothering Jazz Hands, because my friend who was a 278, I felt like that actually like explained him well.
She's so lovely.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like a mood booster. She's like sunshine.
Bonsoir, bonsoir. Comment ça va? Ça va bien ou ça va comme ci, comme ça? Va bien.
Yeah, she's not really listening for people's responses, even in the performance. That is funny. Whoever noted that in the interview. It's okay.
C'est inutile de vous dire ma joie, bien entendu. Simplement, avec votre permission, je voudrais vous raconter une toute petite histoire. Comme ceci. C'est autour de moi ta voyage, me trouvant à l'étranger. Quand monsieur en son langage, gentiment un jour m'a demandé, allez-moi donc la vie lumière, Paris est vraiment si joli, mon lieu unique sur la terre, simplement Paris, et puis voilà aussi.
I'm gonna look at her body, but it's not.
Well, when she's performing, it's like very sevenish to me. I mean, then I can feel the 7 like shining through more.
She's younger here and here. Seems like she'd be the funnest person at any party.
I wonder how many languages she knew. So this is I have no proof of this. I've just, in my experience, 7w6s tend to be the most likely to be like polyglots. It seemed like she knew obviously she knows French. It seemed like she knew Norwegian. So if she knows Norwegian, which is like no reason to know Norwegian because all Norwegians know English. So I just wonder. That would be something I guess I could look up on the side here. But
polyglot meaning like multi-languages. I was like, oh yeah, I read something about her sexuality. Maybe
oh no, polyglot, like multiple languages. Like it seems like she probably knew a lot. Like, I don't know, she just gives me that vibe of like that 7w6 kind of like Renaissance person who's like unstoppable, like very keen mind, like picks up a lot of, can adapt to whatever. Like, I don't know.
There's this video about her sexual conquest, and immediately I was thinking sexual conquest does seem like 7 and 8. Like that kind of seems like a thing.
In 1906, Josephine Baker grew up in an impoverished household in St. Louis, Missouri. To help raise money to support her family, she'd perform on the streets. Fast forward 2 decades later in Paris, France, Baker became one of Europe's most prominent Black stars, while little girls everywhere were playing with dolls of her. Clearly, Baker was in a league of her own. Her story of clawing her way up the ladder, going from being a lowly street performer to one of the most successful Black women of her time, is downright inspirational. She had a raw, unabated sex appeal and wasn't afraid to flaunt it. Join Facts First as we explore how she shocked the world with her sexual conquests while winning over a legion of adoring fans, overcoming stereotypes, and knocking down walls in the process.
I mean, this feels a gut to me just listening to this. It's like, not that an Nyan gut wouldn't do that, but she just seemed like, especially for that era, like as a Black woman, like you just would have to have so much unwavering self-confidence, I think, to just forcefully like assert yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like sold on that.
Yeah.
Personally.
Baker's childhood and teen years. Baker grew up in abject poverty. Her mother, Carrie McDonald, was an adoptee of a formerly enslaved couple, while her father's identity is disputed. Records list him as being a drummer named Eddie Carson, but there's no way to be sure if he was her biological father. In her early years, she danced on the streets of St. Louis to take care of her sisters. When she was 13, she got a job as a waitress at the Old Chauffeurs Club while also housekeeping for affluent white families on the side. That was the same year she married her first husband, Willie Wells. That marriage was annulled less than a year later, but she married again when she was 15 to a man named William Howard Baker. Once again, she eventually divorced him, but by that time she was working as a traveling vaudeville performer. Dropping her original surname, McDonald, Josephine.
Yeah, and I mean, like, vaudeville is pretty, like, I feel like I guess it's 7 and 9, but it's 7 and 8 as well. It's like, and she seems like like a lot of assertive. I know 2 is like almost pseudo assertive, like, but it seems like she like has just been like fucking hit the ground running from like her childhood, like with force. I don't know if there's a way to somehow.
Yeah, I'm back on the 8 gods to be honest.
Sexual conquests were legendary. Let's hear a little more, Josephine.
Her sexual conquests were legendary. As her famous song Jadou Amour suggests, Baker was bisexual and uninhibited when it came to sex. She was once quoted while on a controversial tour of Germany as saying that she wasn't immoral, rather she was just natural. Baker regularly indulged in wild, cocaine-fueled orgies in Weimar, Germany with director Max Reinhardt. It's also reported she would often be found having sex with an English stage manager in the curve of the curtain between performances at the Casino of Paris. Baker once said she had been married thousands of times because it felt like every man she ever loved had been her husband. After a performance in Stockholm for the King of Sweden, Baker won the affection of the Crown Prince Gustav Adolf. The young prince summoned Baker to the palace and led her through a secret entryway to a room with a lavish bed covered in furs. He then proceeded to cover her naked body with diamonds, rubies, emeralds, and other precious stones. It's been said that a night with Baker could be had for 50,000 Belgian francs or a piece of priceless jewelry, but Baker seemed to have no trouble betting whoever caught her eye.
Good for her. She lived a grand life.
Yeah, she does. Or she did.
I mean, that picture you were just on to me looks like so cheesy, like with the cheetah.
Also has like I think like a cuter face than like, not the 7-wing-8s can't be cute obviously, but like I feel like she has that 7-wing-6 chipmunky, and like you can see the like I was kind of like feeling like
very chipmunk.
But like 7-wing-8 is 7-wing-6 is much more effusive or like effervescent type quality, whereas like 7-wing-8 is more like, I think it was even at some point called like the realist. Like it seems less like 7-wing-6 is the more like the face of 7, you know. So what people understand as 7 generally is like more defined by 7-wing-6. It's more common, obviously. But she definitely seems to have that 7 and 6 thing, and like she's very endearing and very, you know, I could see her. That's why I'm wondering about an 8-wing-9 fix, because I could see her being, oh God, I like don't know how all their stuff works. But so she was 7-wing-6, then she would be all her wings would be 6, 3, and 9. Which to me actually makes sense for like someone who is like universally likable and like was able to maneuver her way into like, you know, what she did at the time and kind of being accepted despite being, you know, different from the kind of like prevailing status or, you know, structures at the time.
Yeah, because then she has that kind of innocence. It's like she's forceful, but she has this kind of innocent, naive quality to her that I could see being very attractive, especially with social sexual, where social sexual 7-wing-8 might be more intimidating and maybe not as
endearing.
You know, I'm getting like double mental. Double mental. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of going back and forth. So 7 and 8 is a double hexad type. So her identity would be very strong. If it's 7-wing-6, it's you know, there's an attachment fix there, so it's a little bit softer. So Liza Minnelli, I believe, is 7 wing 6. So if she is very similar energy to that, then that makes sense. But she does have, I'm not quite sold yet. I'm not sure. Because I know like Lucille Ball, I believe, is 7/8. And same with Judy Garland. And it's just like a very strong identity. I think the 2 is throwing me off because it softens her so much.
Garland is 4 wing 3, but
Yeah, same.
Lucille Ball 7 wing 8. But with Lucille Ball, you can tell she's much
Forward.
more
She's kind of scary looking.
hard and scary. Yeah, 7 wing 8's more scary. 7 wing 6, like they don't come across in that scary way.
Yeah, I think
they
Lucille
get
Ball
More approachable.
Yeah, like I wouldn't fuck with Lucille Ball.
No, she will cut you. No, she's more threatening for sure.
7 wing 8's like scary is like a better way to put like how it's hard to describe, but like so many 7, like because 6 is so much more common, right? So many 7s are 7 wing 6, so that's like what we tend to think of as like standard 7-ish. Like it's rare, like
She's less endearing too. Like if you compare her to Liza Minnelli, right? Yeah, then I feel like she has more this energy than the energy of the other one.
And also, I want to say, like, 8 wing 9 is a fix. Like, if Josephine Baker had these like millions of adopted children, that is big mama bear. Like,
yeah, big mama bear, right? I'm thinking definitely 8 wing 9 fix for sure. Like she
lived such a full fucking life. Like, it just seems like,
right.
To me, it seems like she would have to be double assertive. Like
double assertive, like endless reserves of energy. No shyness, no like not inhibited. I respect her for just like being out there and doing her thing, like without inhibition.
Yeah. Like I understand the point about if she's double hex or she'd be triple hexad, that's sort of a maybe not as
likable. Yeah.
But if she does have that 369 wings.
Triple hexads aren't likable.
I don't know. No. That
Like,
wasn't what I was saying.
But she also doesn't seem like she's adapting either. So
no, she just seems like she just goes into everywhere like herself, and it just blah 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 blah.
Okay, here's the other thing is that because I think it's pretty obvious that her head is 7 wing 6. It is all about her. Like it's the Josephine Baker show. Like I know that this is like a very specific clip, but it's like she doesn't seem recessive in any way. Like she seems just very like, look at me. You know, and then she and then it's like she gets old and maybe not as relevant. So then she has like the biggest fucking family. Like, not that it wasn't from her heart, her kind heart, I'm sure, but it's just like everything's like so expansive that I almost feel like she has to have like a 8 gut.
Yeah.
Like I'm drawing generalizations, but
no, I think it's true though. Like I know, you know, it's so easy to see anybody who's pleasant as a 9 fix. I say kind of ironically being an unpleasant person with a 9 fix. But generally speaking, I think it's very easy to see anyone who's like pleasant and like nice, like, you know, friendly and whatever as like a 9 fix. But it's, you know, there are 1 fixers and 8 fixers who are perfectly like friendly and
yeah, like I do think there's something to the idea that like expensive there's something 8ish to the expensiveness, because the way I see 8, it's like the lust of 8 is kind of about doing things in excess.
Oh, that's a great point, Christina.
So
Yeah,
it's like, so it's not like they're necessarily mean, but they're that an eight fixer is necessarily going to be unpleasant, but that they are doing whatever they're doing with a certain
yeah,
excessive intensity.
yeah, that kind of puts into words what I've been trying to say, like, but yeah, exactly.
She's had 4 husbands. And a fifth, I guess, partner, 12 plus kids. Civil rights activist. Okay, that kind of civil rights activist, French resistant agent, singer, dancer, actress, vedette, whatever that is, a vaudeville thing, probably. Yeah, cabaret. I feel like she must have an 8 fix. She's like doing 7 to the fucking max. Like, I don't know if a triple posse would also, I'm being reductive again, but want to be like a French resistant agent or like a civil rights activist. Like,
Yeah, and she's married. I just was because I was looking up how many languages she spoke. I think at least her first husband, I think, was a Jewish man. So she's definitely, I don't know, just I don't know. Sorry, that probably has zero relevance. I'm just half Jewish, so I'm always interested in that stuff. But yeah, I mean, French resistance, like she's just like very cosmopolitan to the extreme. Seems to know and knows any fluent in at least 2 languages, maybe 5. I just did a quick check, but yeah, excess, like everything to the max, extreme motor, like extreme energy, extreme levels of energy with her. Like she seemed like never to have stopped. Like,
after this, so she refused to perform for segregated audiences in the US, although she was offered $10,000 by a Miami club. The club eventually met her demands. Her insistence on mixed audiences helped to integrate live entertainment shows in Nevada. After this incident, she began receiving threatening phone calls from people claiming to be from the Ku Klux Klan, but said publicly that she was not afraid of them. Like, I feel like she has to have an 8 gut. She's just too fucking ballsy. Like,
yeah,
that's
agreed.
terrifying during the period that she lived in. Like,
Very terrifying.
fucking lynched and shit. Like, yeah, I feel like she has to have an 8 fix.
She's totally like just, she comes off friendly and cool and fun, but she clearly has like a very, to me, a very strong gut presence. I think, the excesses, the ballsiness, the just kind of what I actually like that whatever description someone said that you had of 8 just kind of in the last position, just kind of amping up the other 2 fixes, because like the 2 and the 7 come out so strong, but it's like they're unhindered. They're like unhindered by anything. It's just like the 7-wing-6 zaniness and like pan intellectualism with like the 2-wing-3 gushy hearts, like just unedited, like uncensored.
I was just thinking, I remember seeing like the gut center being like the gut fix being described as like the motor, or maybe that's what Bisou just said. So then it's like, yeah, I do remember seeing something about how the gut center is sort of like the motor. So then it's like,
Yeah,
so I do think it makes sense, the thing that it kind of amps up the other fixes in a way.
So as a woman in this time, it's also very hard to be like so fucking yourself and like being so sexual, promiscuous, whatever the word is. I mean, she and bisexual, open in this time, and black, like they're and like moved to the other side of the world. There are like so many things that for me it would be weird if she would have like a 9 fix. I think she would have, I think that would make her less grab life by the balls, you know what I mean? So therefore I'm now leaning towards 8 fix instead of 9.
I think like too, like I feel like a lot of stuff with 8 is attributed to like being a reactive asshole and stuff like that, but like when 8's not like an unhealthy piece of shit, like
yeah, that's true.
like able to like create like
It's revolutionary. Like 8 actually is very when it's healthy, like has strong revolutionary energy. And I feel like she was kind of like revolutionary in a way, like without necessarily leading causes, but just by being herself.
Yes,
Yeah, I
that's true.
think 8 is kind of more about taking up space.
Yeah, she
It's
picked up a lot of
more about the willingness to take up space because it's like your right, God-given right to exist, and it's about necessarily being yeah. And she does seem like she's very
they're
comfortable.
revolutionary despite themselves. You know, it's not like 6 like trying to like launch some, something or whatever. It's just by being yourself, you make an impact on the world.
Mm-hmm.
Fearless, and you're just out there making an impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, and she's a literal icon now. And I do feel like 7-8 stem is kind of like icon sort of.
I agree. Beth, can we sway you over to our side? And
It's
how
like
do we do this?
both 7 and 8 are like types that's very like comfortably just being themselves, like putting themselves out there, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm fine with 7-8 if there's a 6 and a 9 there to balance it out. Otherwise, I would go 7-8 and then 9-8.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I can see a Bermuda overlay on top of a hexad, a triple hexad. It does normalize it. It does.
Mm-hmm. For
Makes
sure.
it more approachable, more,
2-7-8. Mar called the nipple ring.
Oh God. Well, she probably has one, so
Yeah, that's true. And then 3-6-9 is the chosen one. So
the chosen one.
So.
Yeah.
And then she would be like a 6. Oh my God, my brain just left my body. 6-2. So holy prophet. That doesn't necessarily fit in the context of that nickname, but her being 2-6 adjacent or 6-2 adjacent makes sense to me. Like then Stockholm adjacent, like she doesn't have like I love my captor vibes,
Mm-hmm.
Have that like I fake sick a lot. Social sexual, 7-wing-6, 2-wing-3, 8-wing-9. We didn't really talk about her wing 3, but she has the 2-wing-3 like face in her. Yeah, she's very the way she communicates. It's very just like shining and bright, like
flamboyant. Yeah.
2-wing-1 is a little bit more buttoned up, and she's like
more peoply.
Yeah, she's peoply and razzle dazzle and
razzle dazzle. Yeah,
doesn't seem to have a sort of thing about morality, more just like standing up for rights, which I think sometimes people equate with super ego, but it's like that's not super ego wanting fucking human rights.